I think one pivotal moment in my life really was my college experience where I was able to wear many hats. And I think that helped me see that you don't have to be just one thing. For example, I was a collegiate athlete, but also a leader, but I also had this amazing experience to study abroad. And I think that really showcased a lot of things I want to do. And brought like eternal peace, where it's like, you're just a small piece in a really, really big puzzle. So I think that changed my outlook drastically.
I was just about to go off to college and I started having my very first panic attacks. I'd never had them before. I actually landed in a hospital and all of a sudden I had to take a year off. And I was on a full ride academic scholarship. My family does not have a lot of money, so I was super fearful that I had lost that entire opportunity. The second time was more recent. In 2016, I went through a really severe depressive episode. I was actually diagnosed with bipolar disorder while in college. And that depressive episode was really tough because I just started to feel like I wasn't able to perform my daily tasks well in my job. And so I started thinking I was going to lose my job pretty soon. I was thinking I was going to lose my husband. I was going to be homeless. In hindsight, all of these things just seemed completely irrational. But the scary thing about being in the throes of a depressive episode is those things at the time feel so real. And so, yeah, those are two times when I was definitely experienced fear.
I had issues getting pregnant, and so for me, I grew up in a fairly large Italian, Irish Catholic family. We don't talk about emotions. And, you know, when I was a parent, things were not happening the way that it should. I sort of felt like I was on an island. I didn't have a community that I could necessarily go to. You know, I have two amazing daughters right now, and the path that we took together may have been non-traditional for many, but I had to sort of realize that I wasn't letting myself down or my family down. I was creating a different path and hopefully using that as an opportunity to have conversations with others that, you know, might be going through something similar.
I started having health issues where I was basically having very random but somewhat regular bouts of vertigo, where the room would start spinning, and when it was at its worst, like it was to the point where I was basically incapacitated for a day or two. It was hard for me with my kids. It was, you know, they couldn't understand why I couldn't get up out of the bed to help, you know, or just play with them. It was hard for me professionally. I was missing meetings, I was missing work. I was eventually diagnosed with Meniere's disease. That was really hard to come to terms with, was the complete inability for me to really change things just by doing it a different way, right? I had to just find the right medical treatments.
My favorite place, at least right now in the world right now, is the mountains of Summit County, Colorado, which is about 80 miles west of Denver, where I spent a good amount of my time as a child and a young adult, and even into my adulthood. And it's a wonderful place to just experience good living, right? Eating, way of life, outside, the hiking. It's also a wonderful place to be with family in an environment away from home. We tend to spend a lot of time up there with my cousins and their kids, so it's been a great way to meet family. And I think thirdly, I think it brings out the best version of me when I'm there. I can be athletic and active with my yoga, with my hiking and skiing. So it's a wonderful place for me to be who I want to be while enriching myself.
My favorite place in the world is Hong Kong, where I grew up in. I was actually born in Canada and moved over maybe within a few months. Hong Kong is a place where it's hustle and bustle of New York, but also you get the tranquility and just the nature of Thailand. So fun fact, Hong Kong is actually 75% green. There's a lot of diversity. The food is amazing. The people are great, and people are really hardworking there too, which I love. I think that, you know, me coming to Chicago is also for me to learn a little bit more about the worldview, not only having a perspective from the Asia Pacific area. So I'm really excited to be here and also be able to go back once in a while to Hong Kong and have amazing food.
I heard back from my recruiter after I presented, and my recruiter informed me that unfortunately I didn't do a good job. So what I ended up doing was I went back to school. I used that as an opportunity for me to actually confront my fears, because I knew that I was very weak when it came to coding, programming, and in order for me to catapult myself to that next milestone in my career, I need to be able to have that technical impact. So I went back to school, got a scholarship. Throughout that entire journey, it was about a year's time. These micro wins helped me go back to my instructor. And when she asked me, well, what have you been up to this last year? I was in a much better position and much better prepared to revisit this moment.